Hey, and welcome to the latest video blog. Just want to let you know that I'm going to be in Toronto the weekend of the Family Day weekend there in Toronto for the auto show, the Canadian International Auto Show, working with wheels.ca. Going to be doing some videos. There's going to have a booth there. Come on by, and I'll be there most days starting around noon on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's next weekend, the Family Day long weekend. All right, so same thing again as every day. We want to get into how you get in touch. Easy way is Twitter at Driving with Zack and Motormouth Canada. A lot of people are liking Motormouth Canada because they can write a longer question, and that's good too. So let's get into it because we've got lots and lots of questions to get to. Ryan McCarthy says, quick question, do you do your YouTube videos by yourself? The quick answer is yes, I do. I have my own camera, my GoPro. I use a lot of the company corporate B-roll. You'll see me using that and put it all together. Once in a while, I do head out on the road. I have a cameraman for the TV show I do called Driving Television, but he's busy shooting the TV show segments, and I do my own little web videos on the side. So yeah, I do it all on my own. That's why they're not perfect, but I try to make them with production qualities as best I can. And when you compare them to a lot of other YouTube videos, some YouTubers are really good, high production values. Others are terrible, just using an iPhone. So I try to split it somewhere in the middle. Ricky writes, I currently drive a Nissan Altima. It's been a good car with zero issues. I'm happy with it, but my family has grown and considering purchasing a crossover CUV. I live in Florida. Well, welcome to Motormouth Canada. So no snow, but lots of rain. Based on your theory, we're talking about a previous video blog. I talked about if a car company has been good to you and he's getting good service from his Nissan Altima, I say, don't they deserve the first chance at getting your business back? So he says, based on your theory, should I buy the Nissan Rogue? It's been good to me. But would I get more for my money with a different manufacturer? Also, should I bother with all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive? And that's from Ricky in Florida. Well, let's go with the front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive first. For the Canadian market, all-wheel drive, I really believe if you're going to purchase a crossover, a small SUV, or even some cars that are available with all-wheel drive, buy the all-wheel drive. Not so much, even, for example, here on the West Coast where we do get a lot of rain, not warm rain like Florida, but we get a lot of rain. People, when they're looking for a used product, they want the all-wheel drive. But in the United States, it's quite different. Almost all of the SUVs that we get in Canada that come standard with all-wheel drive are available in the United States with front-wheel drive as an option. So a good example of that would be, the Lexus RX, only available in Canada with all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive in the US, because they know there's so many places that don't require that extra traction. So by all means, for Florida, front-wheel drive would be fine. And yes, Nissan Altima has been good to you. Consider the Rogue. But the Rogue actually is a good product, a good value leader because it has lots of room. It's got a more upscale interior than many of the other products. And the price is very competitive with everything else on the marketplace. So when you compare price to what you get on the inside, I think it definitely is a leader. A RAV4, I think, is probably the most solid of the bunch because it's got tried and true technology. They haven't moved that along. The Mazda CX-5 is another one. But yeah, the Rogue, if you've got a family and a growing family, it's a good size. The next one comes from Jack Fag. He says, hey, I enjoy your reviews. Keep up the great work. I bought a 2014 Jetta GLI Edition 30 manual last summer. I was wondering if you had a chance to check it out, and what do you think? Well, I've driven the GLI, not this Edition 30, but it doesn't really matter. The GLI is the Jetta version kind of the GTI. After driving my friend's Golf R, I wish Volkswagen would put the 4Motion in the Jetta. Not sure why, other than that, it handles great. Let me know. That's from Jack. Now, because the Golf R is made in Europe, in Germany, and with the all-wheel drive assembly line there, they're able to put all-wheel drive in that car. The Jetta is made in Mexico, in the Pueblo plant. Now, the thing is, I would almost bet that the all-wheel drive capability will be put into that plant. And when that happens, we're going to see all-wheel drive versions of the Jetta and of the Jetta wagon, and we're going to see other products probably going into that plant. So not yet here in North America, but almost bet that it's probably coming. Devesh Tank says, hey Zach, big fan of your videos. Was tired of watching car reviews by American journalists. Well, that's nice of you. So here's my question. I'm 20 years old. I'll be graduating from university in April, looking to buy a car which is fun and sexy and looking for a coupe. My budget is $10,000. I'll be using this car on the weekends and after work, but will be commuting starting in September. I was thinking about buying a 2010-2011 Lancer. It's a Mitsubishi. 04 to 06 Infiniti G37 Coupe, or an 08-09 Dodge Charger. This will be my first car. Can you help me with my decision? Feel free to recommend other cars which might be good, just no hatchbacks. Let's get into the three products he's got. Lancer, there's nothing wrong with it. It's going to be reliable. It's going to do all that, but so boring. The interior is crap. It's just so boring on the inside. I wouldn't, if a young guy, 20 years old, Lancer, forget it. The Charger is not a coupe, so I'm not sure why it's on your list. But these cars have proven to be very reliable. A lot of people diss the Charger and the Chrysler 300, but these are proving to be very reliable cars. Now let's get to the car of the three I would choose. Would be the older, even though it's an older product, you have to sit and wait for the right one to come along. That's the G35 Coupe. Infiniti products have proven to be very reliable. So if you sit and wait for the right one and make sure, do your due diligence, get it inspected, get all of that done, that would probably be my choice. Now, another one that you might not have thought about, what about a Mustang? A Mustang GT or a Mustang V6 with a manual transmission. There's tons of them around, and why not consider that? But of the three you chose, I think I'd go for the Infiniti if it has been inspected. Next one comes from Andy Mohit. Hey, I look forward to your videos every week. Valuable information. My second vehicle is a 06 Honda Civic with bulletproof reliability. I don't want to mess with it. It's got 173,000 kilometers on it. However, the engine looks like it needs a wash. What are your thoughts about an engine wash? Is it safe for the vehicle? How should I do it? Now, if you're at all nervous about having your car detailed inside the engine bay, take it to a professional. Spend a couple $100, get the outside of the vehicle polished. It'll look like a new penny. And then, well, actually, we don't have pennies in Canada anymore. It looked like a shiny new nickel. And then have them detail the inside of the engine compartment if you don't want to do it on your own. However, there are plenty of products. You can go to Canadian Tire, Walmart, Zellers. Oh, wait, don't go to Zellers. I should say Target. That's what I meant to say. I ruined the joke. You can go to Target. Oh, well, never mind. Don't go to Target. And look for some stuff, degreaser, gunk, all these different manufacturers. You can spray inside and then hose it off on the inside. You want to make sure you don't get water inside the air intake, and you could even cover the distributor with a plastic bag if you're concerned about that. But you can just hose off the engine and it'll be perfectly fine. So if you don't want to do it on your own, take it to a professional. The next one comes from Richie Rich. Why do all journalists call the CLA Mercedes-Benz the entry-level Mercedes, not the B-Class? I just did two videos. I was in Quebec this past week. I got a chance to drive the new B-Class 4MATIC and the new CLA 4MATIC, the 250. And I mentioned that they're entry-level because they are entry-level. You've got the entry-level hatchback right here. That's the B-Class. And the entry-level sedan is the CLA. So yeah, they are entry level. Yes, the B-Class is slightly less expensive by a couple of $1,000. So that would be the entry level. But one is a hatchback and one is a sedan. So in that case, they are the entry level. And the new GLA crossover is the entry level crossover. And people get so caught up on the little minutia of everything that, auto journalists say. Like, just take the overall what we're trying to get across as information instead of dissecting every last little, anyway, whatever. Dennis writes, what do you think of the Mitsubishi Mirage? Should it have a 4-cylinder engine? Do you think it's the modern Geo Metro? I don't think much about the Mirage at all. I think it's a piece of crap, to be honest with you. It's one of the worst cars I've ever driven. Now, if the Mitsubishi Mirage came out 20 years ago, it would get a pass. It kind of reminds me of the Subaru Justy that we had in Canada years ago. CVT transmission, 3-cylinder, anemic horsepower. What's it got? 75 horsepower, something like that. Does it need a 4-cylinder engine? Absolutely, in this marketplace. I had so many people beating me up on that Mitsubishi Mirage review saying, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an ass hat. It's not designed to compete with cars like the Kia Rio, which is what I compared it to. What I said in the review is, If you're going to spend the money on a Mitsubishi Mirage, spend $1,000 more and get a proper car like the Kia Rio. Now we've got the Micra from Nissan, which is under $10,000 at the starting price. And what did Mitsubishi do? They dropped the price dollar for dollar to match it up with that new Micra. But and somebody just, funnily enough, sent me another note on YouTube saying, do you think the Mirage and the Micra are the same? No, they're not. The Mirage is crappy and the Micra is good. The Micra has a 4-cylinder engine with proper power. It's got a proper transmission. It has a good noise insulation. It's got a more refined ride. The Mitsubishi has a underpowered 3-cylinder engine. It's got a CVT. It vibrates. It makes so much noise when you're driving. It's just like from another era. It's a car designed for emerging markets, places like Indonesia and India and places like that. It's not a proper car for North America. It's just, I wouldn't even look at it. Plus, it's ugly. Now, you can almost guarantee I am not going to get an invitation from Mitsubishi to drive any of their new cars. There you go. But you know what? You read any review from any reviewer on the Mitsubishi Mirage, and they all say the same thing. All right, it's been a week. Got to get a tweet from RepublicanOil. He sends one back. Hey, thanks for responding to my question about corporate cars. I'm considering a GLI, talking about a GLI from earlier. I assume in your Mustang theory you refer to it should be okay. So this is the thing. I said, if you're going to buy one of the X-Press cars that I get to drive, look for one that is not like a high performance model. Look for a middle of the road. If you see a car that says it's a corporate car, like a Mustang GT, probably being beaten on by guys like me, but an average 4-door family sedan is fine. And I think the GLI would be one of those cars that is, hasn't been beaten up too badly. But if you're ever concerned, get it inspected by a third party. If it's for sale by one Volkswagen dealer, take it to the other Volkswagen dealer in town and get them to look at it, or a mechanic somewhere else. But always, 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 please, if you're buying a used car, even if it's just a few months old, get it inspected. Rex Lou says, hey, Zach, what are your thoughts on these two cars? 2015 Audi S3, 2009 BMW M3. Which one would you recommend for Toronto? Wow. I'm going to Toronto for the auto show, and I looked at the forecast, and it says it's going down to -20. Oh, man. On Friday morning. Of course, I have to show up and it's going to be -20. Well, basically that answers your question. An M3 in Toronto and -20, no thank you. Sure, you can put winter tires on it, but you know what? A BMW M car, ask me how I know. I've owned one, out of warranty. You don't want that, honestly. You know what M stands for? M stands for money. It's going to cost you a lot of money to keep that car running. I wouldn't touch it. M cars are great when they're under warranty. Audi S3, you've got all-wheel drive, you got 300 horsepower, and you've got the latest amenities. It's under warranty. It's a nice sized car. The M3 is older. It's fat. It's over. I'm not a big fan of that V8 engine. So there you go. Brendan Friesen writes, hey Zach, is it justifiable to buy the new Golf with a TDI engine over the gasoline engine? Or is the 1.8 liter turbo good enough to be bought over the TDI? This all comes down to how much you drive. If you drive a lot, if you're on the road all the time, you're putting thousands and thousands of kilometers on your vehicle every month and every year, the TDI would be the way to go. But that new 1.8 liter engine in the Golf and the Jetta is so good. I think it's so good that it would be really hard to justify the price. The reason why the high mileage person should get the TDI is because it uses less fuel, and you're going to save some money over the long run. If you're just doing average driving and you can't justify the difference in the price, that new 1.8 is fantastic. There you go, another blog in the books. I have some beefs that I want to talk about, but I'm not going to do it today. A lot of people annoying me lately, but I'm not going to talk about it. Some of it is about pronunciation, how Canadians say things like Z. We say Mazda, not Mazda. And then there were some derogatory comments on the fact that I was in Quebec and how Quebecers aren't part of Canada. Nonsense like that. I think people are just idiots. So yeah, they're all keyboard jockeys on there saying stupid things. Okay, I'm going to get into it. Americans, get out and see the world, please. Other people outside of the United States say things differently than you do. Get over it. The last letter in the alphabet, every other English-speaking country in the world is Z. Americans call it Z. Everywhere else in the English-speaking world says it's a Mazda, not a Mazda. Get over it. And Quebec is part of Canada, and it's a beautiful province. And you know what? People got to get out of their basements, typing away on their computer, and go and visit Quebec, especially in the winter. It's spectacularly beautiful. People are very nice. The food is fantastic. The countryside is beautiful, and it's a treasure in our country. And I think that people who are still fighting over this Quebec and Canada and who should leave, I just get over yourselves. It's part of Canada. It's a province. You should visit it. It's beautiful there. I'm going 2 more times this month to Quebec, and I can't wait. I love it. See you in Toronto at the auto show. There you go. I feel better now. I've vented. Next time.